Hi there, I'm Lucy from Open5th, and today I'm going to show you how you can make changes to your cataloging frameworks. So customizing your frameworks just allows you to make sure that you have exactly the right tags and subfields available to you, and it just makes cataloging that little bit easier. So I'm going to go across into the cataloging module, and first of all, I'm going to show an example of a framework so you can see what we're going to work with. So under New Record, I can use the drop down to see the different frameworks that are available to me. Now, this will depend library by library. These frameworks are different. It just depends on the type of materials that you catalogue and the frameworks that you wanted to have available to you. Within here, I've got books framework. So this is a sort of general framework that I would use if I was cataloguing books. And I'll see in here the tags and the subfields that I would expect to. So things like the ISBN field, some classification number fields here, author fields, personal author, corporate author, title, etc. I'm going to make a couple of changes here just so you can see how it works. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually hide this 110 tag with its subfield as well. So I'm going to hide that completely from the framework. And then with the 245 or the title tag, I'm going to add a couple of extra subfields so you can see both how to remove subfields and then add them as well. Okay, so I'm going to go across into a different tab here and go into the co-administration section. Under Catalogue, I've got MARC bibliographic frameworks, and this is where I can make those changes. So I have all my frameworks listed here, and I'm going to make changes to the books one. That was the one we were looking at. So under Actions, I need to go into MARC structure. I've got all the different tags that are available to me listed down on the bottom half of the screen. I've also got a search, so I'm just going to search for 110. That's the tag that I want to hide. And if I search for that, it should show at the top of the screen for me here, the top of the list for me. Go into Actions again, and this time I'm looking at Edit Subfields. So within this screen now, I see all the different subfields that are available to me listed at the top in different tags, in different tabs rather, sorry. And these are the subfields that are designated within MARC 21 as available within this 110 tag. So these are the subfields that I can either make visible or hide from my framework. And if you remember, it was subfield A that was displaying within our framework. So if I go back across there, if I look at 110, it's this little subfield A, corporate author main entry that I'm seeing there. So come back into my MARC structure here. And all I need to do, there's lots of different options you can explore on this screen, but all I need to do in order to hide that subfield and its tag is just to untick here this editor button. Okay, so that editor one means that you're changing the display within the cataloging framework itself. And then at the bottom of the screen, I can save. If I go back across now and look at my framework, if I refresh that page, we should see now that that 110 subfield and tag has disappeared. Now, the reason the whole tag has disappeared is because subfield A was the last tag that was visible, and because I've hidden that subfield A, it's hidden the subfield, but it's also hidden the tag itself. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to do was actually add some subfields. So this time I'm going to look at the 245 field, which is your main title area. And I'm going to add two subfields, the subfield or the remainder of title, which is subfield B, and the statement of responsibility, which is subfield 3. Subfield C. If you want to see what subfields are available within the MARC 21 standard, you can click on this little question mark here, which will take you through to the Library of Congress, where the MARC 21 standard is documented. And you'll see here in 245 title statement that these are the subfield codes that are allowable. We're already seeing in our framework subfield A. What I'm going to make visible so that you can use these subfields as well is subfield B, the remainder of title or subfield, and subfield C, the statement of responsibility. Okay, so within Koha, you have got this nice little link through to the Library of Congress, so you can always check that you're enabling the correct MARC tags and subfields. Okay, so if we go back through to our MARC structure, this time I'm going to cancel out of there. That was my 110. And this time I'm going to search for 245. Again, it's showing in my list at the top here. I go into Actions, go into Edit Subfields. Now here within our subfields, we're already showing A. So if I look here, that's already ticked. That's showing in the editor. So all I need to go through and do is tick editor for B and C, and that will enable those. The other thing that I'm going to do is just for this one is manage in tab rather. It's showing in tab 2, and that means that in my framework it would actually split these two subfields across into a different tab along the top, and I actually want them all to just display on that simple screen, that first screen. So I'm actually going to change that to manage in tab 0, and I'm going to do the same for my new subfield B. And if we look at subfield A, that's already in the managed in tab 0. I'm going to save those two changes. And now if I go back into my framework and refresh, I should see those new subfields displaying. And there you have B and C displaying for you. Okay, so that just shows you very simply how you can hide and how you can display just to customize those frameworks, just to make sure. You might have some frameworks you've been using for a while, and there's some fields that you never use, some fields you never use, or some that you always think would be useful to have. So that's how you go about customizing those. There's just one thing really to point out. When you're working within MARC structure, you do have the ability to delete subfields. We recommend that you don't actually delete them completely, because once you've deleted them, there's no way of just enabling them if you want to enable them again. So just use that editor tick box just to say whether you want them to display or not, rather than going down the route of deleting them completely. Okay. Don't forget, if you want to know more detail about the editing, the editing functionality that you have within that MARC structure, you can always use the help button here to take you through to the manual. And in the Koha manual, you do have a lot of detail to take you through that process if you want to look at that as well. But yeah, thank you for watching, and don't forget to look at our YouTube channel and our blog to see lots of other tips and tutorials related to Koha and the other products that we support. Thank you.